Hey, what's up, guys? Well, tonight was a rough night in many ways, man. A lot of bad predictions on my part, but my main prediction came true, and congrats to Dustin Porier. He came through, won me some cash. I will get to that in a little bit, but let me start out with which I didn't see the whole fight. I saw some of it, maybe half. I'm not sure, but the night was rough, man, because some of these fights, man, it was hard to keep interest, hard to stay awake, hard to stay focused, man. These fights were rough. Danny Jacobs and Arias, man, that was a complete one-sided fight. I did not see the whole fight, but from the rounds that I did see, which was from the beginning up until I don't know, maybe through the fifth or so, uh, the sixth, you could tell it was a one-sided fight. Uh, you know, Arias was outclassed, really had no chance but landing a knockout punch, and I could not keep watching that fight, man. I turned away and then I would flip back to see if Dan Jacobs got the stoppage, and surprisingly, he could not get this guy out of there. Went a full 12 rounds with this guy who he was outclassing, man. Could not put this guy away. So in a way, that was bad for Jacobs. It would have been more impressive if he would have got a knockout. So this guy survives, and it is a wide, long fight, man. And I'm not gonna sit through it and watch that fight. I'm not gonna watch that fight. Absolutely not. So congrats to Danny Jacobs, congrats to Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing USA, all that. All right. Beterbiev, he won by KO in the 12th round. That's another fight. I'm not gonna watch that fight. I was flipping back and forth. Odds makers had Beterbiev getting this guy out a lot earlier than he did. They thought this fight wasn't going to last no time. He was like a minus 11,000 favorite to beat this guy. Ridiculous. And this guy almost survived the whole fight, but he got a stoppage with 28 seconds left in the fight. And he was winning on all the cards, winning all the rounds. So that's a fight. Why have to sit through that one-sided fight, man? It's a one-sided fight. I don't want to see that, man. I'll watch when they fight better competition, man. I cannot sit through that one-sided fight knowing the result. So congrats to Beterbiev. Andre Ward come out of retirement, stop ducking and fight Beterbiev. Yeah, take let's take a test and fight Beterbiev, man. Nah, I'm just bullshitting. But yeah, congrats to Beterbiev, man. All right, now to the UFC and what I saw. By the way, I know Big Baby Miller got a stoppage in the ninth round. I have not watched that fight. I did not see any action from that fight. When I turned to it, the fight was ending. They were stopping the fight. So I will watch that fight and do a separate post fight for that fight, and maybe for the opening fight as well. All right. Now on to UFC. The Angela Hill fight with Nina Ansaroff. That fight officially was judged, I believe, unanimous for Nina Ansaroff. I scored that fight a draw. I had the first round 10-9 for Angela Hill. She landed more strikes. Round two was 10-10 for me. It was a close round. Punch for punch, kick for kick. Both women did great work. For a while there, it looked like Nina Ansaroff was leading, but Angela Hill was tough, and I thought she had a bit of a comeback. She fought tough, and I gave both women credit for what they did in the round instead of giving the round to one or the other, And then in the third round, that was a 10-9 for Ansaroff. She landed more, knocked Hill down twice. So for me, it was a draw, but officially it was for Nina Ansaroff. I'm not, crying or screaming that it was a bad decision. That second round could have went either way. If most people feel like Nina Ansaroff won that round, I will not argue it. I just the way I scored and the way I'm gonna give the round, I give it to both women. All right. The Sage Northcutt fight completely outclassed the guy. Superior striker, superior athlete. In the first round, he landed more, got the takedown. Second round was the same as the first. And the third, he also won 10-9, so that was third 27 for Sage Northcutt. A good win for Sage. He was patient. He fought smart with the takedowns. So the guy appears to be growing with Team Alpha Male. And the UFC should go slow with this guy. He was fighting the guy who had a similar record with 8 wins, 2 losses. He needs to fight guys, like that. Guys with, like 10 fights or less. Somewhere in that range. So, kid's on 21. Move slow with the kid, man. But the guy has, he's a hell of a striker, man. The guy looks like a monster at lightweight. Huge for the weight class. Of course, in great shape, speed and power. So, the guy's gonna do nothing but get better, man. The crowd was hot for Sage, so congrats to him and Team Alpha Male. All right, this girl Suarez, man. This girl was a monster at strawweight, man. She won the first 2 rounds, 10-9, and the third round I didn't judge. I fast forwarded, man. Because the fight was just too one-sided. Why I sit through it. And she won by a unanimous decision. Beat this Brazilian girl, I forget her name. It's gonna be nice to see how this girl progresses, man. Who she fights next. She needs to fight, somebody equal in size, not somebody, so smaller than her, man. So hopefully they will get a good matchup for her next. Hell, she could fight Nina Ansaroff. They both fall on the same day. They both won. Why not pair those two up? See how that goes. I think that would be a good fight. Nina Ansaroff won somebody top 10. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't think it was Nina Ansaroff even ranked. I'm thinking she wasn't, but I could be wrong. But that would be a good fight. So, all right, and the Moraes fight with Dustin. I was disappointed in Dustin in this fight. I'm wondering if Dustin is over the hill a little bit. Has he regressed? Is he not learning new tricks? He seemed to just be going for that left hand bomb, going for the knockout punch. I saw nothing nothing dynamic from the guy, man. If he was not going to land that punch, it seemed like he was not going to win the fight, and he didn't win the fight. It was hard for me to judge. It was hard for me to, to stay focused on this fight. In the first round, I scored a 10-9 from a race, landed more strikes, but fouled Dustin twice with a low blow and a poke. That's rough, man. 2 fouls and not 1 point taken. That was bad. Second round, did not judge. Third round, did not judge. I have weird fight with weird official scores. Foul field, complaining to ref. I tuned out, couldn't judge. It was I think it was 2 third 27s from a race and 1 third 27 for Dustin. So just depending on what you look for in fights, man, how you judge fights. It was weird, man. It was a weird fight, and really not a whole lot to say. I'm disappointed in Dustin though. He could have. This does not look like the Dustin who I once had highly ranked, man. He just seemed to just look for that knockout punch with the left hand, and that was it. So, he needs to show more, man. All right. Clay Guida blasts Lozon out in 1. Lozon may not be able to take a punch anymore. Probably time to retire. I think the ref name was Mike King. He stopped that fight too late, man. Could have stopped it a lot earlier than he did. Lozon was out, man. That guy was getting pounded on, and the ref was just standing there watching, I tell you, the thing about it, when the UFC goes to these new places, places they haven't been before, these rare states, to put on a show. Man, you see people reffing these fights, man, that are, like, who is that guy? And then they do, this kind of shit happens, man. These guys get in there like they don't know what they're doing, get in the spotlight, and they don't know when to stop a fight. Lozon taking the, unnecessary beating, man. So, bad on Mike King. And I think that was the last time we saw him for the night, too. And it was good. All right. But yeah, I picked Lozon to win that fight. And, Clay Guida got him out of there, man. Lozon was looking shot. He was not looking good, man. And I'm pretty sure he would probably try to fight out his contract. I don't know how many fights he has left, but I know Joe Lozon, he makes a lot of money, man. He gets paid good, but I think does he get like maybe like 60,000 to show or some shit like that? Joe Lozon makes a pretty good penny, man, and I'm pretty sure he would probably try to fight that contract out. So, but the guy he should stop. With that kind of loss, he got blasted out like that against Clay Guida. I don't think he'll be able to take a punch anymore from anybody, man. All right. They said that Bisping is stepping in against Kevin Gastelum. Anderson Silva got flagged by USADA for a potential violation. And Bisping is going to step in at the end of this month to fight Gastelum. He's fighting in China too, right? Telling you, man. Let me go to the odds right now. See if anybody has posted odds. If there are any odds up for that fight. I can't wait to see what the line is for that fight. If it's not any up now, I will do a video once it comes out. I will try to set an alert. Let's see. Looks like I'm not seeing that line just yet. No. By the way, looks like a couple of casinos have released lines for Whitaker and GSP. Rob Whitaker has a minus 190 favorite. And he is favored at every casino that has a line for that fight. All right. Let's see. Let me go to the alerts page to see if a line has been released for that fight with Bisping and Gastelum. No. Looks like they don't have it listed yet. I'm not seeing it. But yeah, once that comes out, I will comment, man. I will comment on that line, and I plan on, depending on what the odds are, I plan on playing Kevin Gastelum to win that fight. I think I feel about Bisping, man. I think the guy is I don't know if shot is the word I want to use, but he's regressing, he's aging, and I was never really high on the guy. So, yeah, man. Gastelum I see as being, sharper, younger, and he could pinpoint some strikes on Bisping and get him out of there, man. So, yeah, I can see him putting hands on Bisping and beating him up just like he did to what's the guy's name? I'm having a brain fart. The Army Ranger from Strike Force, Tim Kennedy. Yeah, he beat his ass. Vitor Belfort. These middleweights he's putting it on, with his striking. So, he touch up Bisping on the face, man. Bisping getting embarrassed again by another welterweight, man. A blown up welterweight at middleweight. A younger guy, man. So, yeah, I can't wait to see the line for that fight. All right. Now, what's next? Aldo is rematching Holloway. I think it's gonna be even worse for Aldo this time, man. He got stopped. Was it in the third round in that fight? The second or third? I'm thinking third. But and he was looking good at first, But in the rematch, I think it'll probably be all Holloway up until the finish, and it'll probably be sooner. Could be a first or second round finish in that fight, man. It's just gonna be worse for Aldo, in my opinion, in that fight. Most likely, I will play Holloway inside the distance to win that fight. Not even on the money line, just to win inside the distance. So I'm pretty sure it would be good odds for him to win that way. All right, probably not better than even money, but still good odds. All right, Sun Sao gets a third round KO in his fight. This Ferreira guy got a decision over Nate Marquardt. Albini was wearing underwear in his fight with Arlovsky. I mean, his trunks look like straight up underwear, man, with the Reebok logo with his name on it. Arlovsky wins unanimous decision. He leaves Jackson Winklejohn and has success. LOL. Guy couldn't buy a win, and he went to American Top Team, and the guy, he was looking good. He wasn't looking bad. Now this wasn't one of the top guys. I'm not confusing this guy with Francis Ngannou, or Alistair Overeem. I'm not confusing this guy for them guys. But yeah, these kind of guys, these are the kind of guys Arlovsky should fight. He don't need to fight none of the monsters, none of the big names, none of them, none of those top prime guys, man. Fight these kind of guys, man. These young pups, these up and comers. And he can kind of be a gatekeeper, for them to enter to the next level. They got to get past Arlovsky. So yeah, good for him, man. He snapped his 5-fight losing streak. That's crazy. So good for him, man. And hell, that was probably the best value of the night on the card. He was like a +2. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. He was a +2 something underdog. Who was playing Arlovsky tonight? Nobody. Well, now the odds did go down a little bit. Let's see. I think he was as high as a +317. Was the highest I'm seeing when that fight went off. So, yeah, some people was playing that. So, hey, good for Arlovsky, man. All right. Anybody who played that line. All right, Matt Brown gets a first-round stoppage in his supposed final fight. The broadcast messes up as it happens. They had a split screen of the fight and the post-fight press conference area. Terrible. What happened? Matt Brown, his final moment, and they completely botched it, man. A big glitch going on the screen and shit. You can't enjoy the moment, man. The UFC having technical difficulties, man. But there was a sick elbow that he landed on Diego Sanchez, man. Knocked him out cold. He a welterweight beating up a lightweight. This was one of my picks. This was one of the ones I got right. In a bad night for me. It was in the parlay, which was already busted, by the way. Dustin didn't come through, so it was already over. And of course Lozon, he got stopped too. So so I was out of the money on that fight. But it was one that I predicted right. He was a -300 something to win that fight. And if that's the end for Matt Brown, congrats to him on his career. The fight that I remember Matt Brown the most for is that Eric Silva fight that he headlined on the FS1 card a couple of years ago. Man, that was a hell of a fight, man. And I was a big Eric Silva fan. I was rooting for the guy. And man, Eric Silva was putting it on Matt Brown, and Matt Brown was truly immortal. He lived up to his name. He did not go away in that fight. He did not go down. He did not quit. He made a comeback and he won that fight, man. So, if it's one thing that I will remember Matt Brown for, is that fight, man. That was a great fight for the amount of time it lasted. I think it went to the second round, and Matt Brown made the comeback, man, and got Eric Silva out of there. So, but if that's the end, Matt Brown, congrats to you, man, on your career, and thanks for the memories. All right, now to the fight that I was, most vested in, man. The fight that I broke down the most. The fight that I placed the most amount of money on. The fight that I broke down, did the gamblers alert on, talked about the countdown. Porier versus Pettis, the main event. While I was wrong in some of my other picks, my underdog play, that was more of a value play with Marius Walk. And my parlay got busted early with the UFC. But this was it was some value because they gave good odds. For the guy that I feel clearly was going to win the fight, it was a value in that way. But I strongly feel he was going to win. I put more money on him simply to win. Dustin Porier came through. Congrats to Porier. Congrats to anybody who played that line. The fight came down to exactly what I said, man. Who wanted it more when the going got tough. Who was gonna hang in there more. And it was Dustin Porier. It was. He pissed me off. He was pissing me off in this fight. He was. Let me read what I have for notes. All right. Round 1, 10-9 Porier. Takedown and strong end to the round, putting it on Pettis. Pettis landed a few and had a sub attempt. All right. Porier was standing at first. I think he got touched a few times. Then he wanted to play the wrestling game. Toward the end of the round, they got on the feet. And he was landing on Pettis. He split Pettis open. He had Pettis bleeding, and if that round would have continued, hell, he could have pulled it on the guy standing on the feet. So he was having success on the feet. All right. Now, round 2, I scored a 10-9 for Porier. He cuts Pettis bad with an elbow. Various reversals from both men. I mean, they were all over the place. One would be on top, the other be on bottom. Back and forth. Constant transitions, Porier should have stood with Pettis. This is where I got pissed off, man. This is where the IQ of a Dustin Porier, the mental, what's going on between the ears, we had to come into question. Just like, he was mentally gone and wanted out and quit in that fight with Eddie Alvarez, putting his damn hands down, trying to get a DQ win. The mentality of a guy. This is what I was concerned about. I am not an active fighter, man. I'm just a guy who has watched a lot of fights in his life. Why was this guy determined to stay on the ground with Anthony Pettis when they both were so slippery, bleeding so much? Why try to get subs on a slippery body like that, man? The announcer said it. It was Paul Felder, who he does okay in studio, but he don't need to do play by play. That was a sleepy announce team tonight, man. Anik, Anik and Felder, man, please do not have that duo again, man. Oh, that was rough. But he should have stood up with Anthony Pettis, man. Yes, it was like he respected Pettis so much. Like, oh shit, that's Anthony Pettis. I don't want to try to strike with the guy. Let me constantly grapple. Let me constantly get down on the ground with him and shit. And he was getting caught in these submission attempts, And while I have been critical of Pettis, look, Pettis has pulled off some sick submissions, in his career in the past when he was prime Pettis. He was catching guys. Look how he won a title against Vincent Henderson in the first round. He had Gilbert in a choke. This guy has submissions, man. And he down there playing trying to play the ground game with this guy, man. That shit was dangerous, man. And the guy, they slippery and shit, man. I was like, man, the guy got blood pouring to his eyes, man. Just stand up and make the guy can't see. Shit, that strike with the guy, man. Instead of rolling on the ground with him, y'all all slippery and shit, man. I didn't like it, man. I did not like that. So, it was too slippery to be on the ground. With Pettis, and he was still dangerous with his subs, man. So, I was very concerned, man. I'm like, what is he doing? I'm screaming at the TV, man. Shit, stand up, All right, third round, Porier wins. Pettis taps on canvas from injury. What seemed to be like a rib injury, something along those lines. But they call it TKO, even though the guy was down there hurt and tapped it. They call it TKO. All right, Porier says that that was the second champ that he just beat. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. At the end of that fight, maybe he put it on Eddie in the first round. But in the second round, when that fight was stopped, Eddie Alvarez was putting on Dustin Porier, man. And Dustin Porier put his damn hands down trying to get a DQ win. That's what happened. So he don't know what he's talking about. He just beat Eddie Alvarez. I'm not counting that as a victory against Eddie Alvarez, man. Eddie Alvarez had his ass trying to get a DQ win. So yeah, I'm not counting that. Eddie Alvarez made a comeback in that fight. So yeah, man. Porier was pissing me off, but he ended up getting the victory, man. He ended up proving me right. Everything that I broke down about that fight. Prime guy who wanted it more. All those things I said about the countdown, all those things came into play, man. So, who's gonna be the tougher guy, the guy that grounded out the most? When the going got tough, it was Porier, man. And congrats to him. Congrats to anybody who played him winning that fight. All right, and finally, it was reported some time back that the UFC had re-signed Anthony Pettis. MMA Digest, they were the ones who I got that bit of information from, and I thought that was a bad move. I did not understand whatsoever. I would have let Anthony Pettis go to Bellator or wherever, Rising, wherever he wanted to go. I wouldn't have re-signed Anthony Pettis, man. The guy was 2-4 in his last 6 fights. Now he's 2-5 in his last 7 fights. Think about it, 2-5 in his last 7 fights, man. Most guys would be long gone from the UFC, man. But just because this guy was a champion at one time, just because he's a guy with a name and some value, they can stick on cards here and there. But the guy's not prime anymore, man. He's not the same guy. The Anthony Pettis who took out Cowboy, who took out Vincent Henderson, who took out Gilbert Melendez. This guy, man, who took out Joe Lozon. I was laughing. They were showing all those old highlights and shit of Anthony Pettis to build his fight up. I'm like, man, that's the old Anthony Pettis. That's not the current Anthony Pettis. He's not the same guy anymore, man. By trying to sell the fight with that shit. And nah, man. Anthony Pettis, man, got on that Wheaties boxing like his ass got cursed. His career went downhill. After all that shit happened with the Wheaties box. It was all downhill, man, for Anthony Pettis, man. And I was a fan. I like the guy. He's not a bad guy. He seemed like a real good guy, man. But I'm just honest about it, man. When the guy has regressed and doesn't have it anymore, I'm gonna say it, man. And this guy was once one of the best in the world, man. And now he's just he got stopped again. For the second time in 3 fights. Now, not only is he losing, but now he's getting stopped in his career. For the second time, and second time in 3 fights. So, why the UFC resign this guy? But let him go, man. Save their cash and shit. Sign somebody hot, man. They could use that money on Musasi. Bring in somebody from Bellator. Hell, they need to bring back Kyoji Horiguchi, man. Yeah, that was a mistake letting that guy go. They let that guy go, but they kept passing prime Pettis. I don't get it. Kyoji Horiguchi, man, is a stud, man, and that they need challengers at 125. Even though DJ beat him one time, that dude that he was a young guy at the time has done nothing but gotten better, man. So I think that is it, guys. Not to me was not a great night, man. A lot of lot of fights that were hard to watch, a lot of one-sided fights, and I'm not overjoyed by what I saw tonight. So I think that's it, man. If I missed anything, I will leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you guys thought. If you guys saw it, I hope you enjoyed it. If you placed in the wagers, I hope you made some money. And I will watch the boxing, and then I will check in with you guys then, man. Thanks for watching.